All right, we are back. This is Creativity is the Cure. I'm your host, Malcolm Mohr, and today I have my good friend, Everett Mohr. How are you doing today, Everett?
Hi, Malcolm. I'm doing great.
Right. Let's talk about how we know each other. Wow. I was thinking this morning it goes way back at least a decade.
Yeah,
probably, right?
It's crazy.
So I worked at the school system called Larchmont Charter Schools for about 12 years. And Everett, I think you were there my first year or my second, because way back then I was working at Fairfax and I was doing the after school program. You were, I think you were 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the story that you've heard me tell about 50 times. So there's this kid named Everett. He's 4 years old. I did this thing every Friday. I would have a movie day and we'd all gather, we'd make popcorn and do all this stuff. Well, of course, typical Malcolm thing. I'm trying to get the projector and the sound and everything to work. And I'm like, oh, and it's almost time. This little kid comes over and he's like, can I help you with this? I'm like, no, I'm good. You know, almost like, get away, kid, don't bother me. And then you just sat there, watched me, and I could not figure it out. And you kept saying things like, my daddy taught me how to use this stuff. I can do it. I can do it. And I finally let you do it. And you not only did it, but you did it better than me. And ever since then, when I worked at the school, you were like my right-hand AV guy, right?
Yeah, and you even followed me when I switched to Hollygrove. You came, and then I went to Selma, and you were there, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
this is my.
I know we
guy.
had this similar trajectory, and it was really fun. Yeah, so we went from Fairfax to Hollygrove and Selma, and we've had a long, almost career together.
Yes.
So for me, being the music teacher, yeah, is it 11?
11.
I trust your mind more than me. Yeah, you were always, through my whole career there, whatever music I did, you were my sound guy. And then you left a year ago, and then I was in big trouble because I had to put on the shows and do the sound.
Yeah.
And I could not find anybody to replace you. So that is how important Everett has been to me. And now you're in high school. You're in 10th grade, right?
Yeah, I'm a sophomore.
Oh, my gosh. That is hard to believe. Oh, and the other thing you helped me do is when we were at the middle school for my last 2 years, you and I picked out like the coolest sound system.
Yeah.
We picked out like this $4,000 PA system.
We got a grant from Muzak.
We got a grant from
Muzak.
Yeah, Muzak.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. Mixer and subs and speakers. We had a lot of fun learning that. Yeah. Before we get deep into the conversation, I would like to go way back in time with you to when you were very small, Everett. We were just talking about that guy. Go back, and what is your first creative memory?
That's a really good question. When I was like 5 years old.
Okay.
I got this circuit kit called Snap Circuits. And I started I know it was made for 8-year-olds, 8 and up, but I got it when I was like 4 or 5. And I started making these little circuits and whatever contraptions. I've always been really interested in technology.
Is it a little electronic kit to turn on a light bulb or something?
They had it had little pieces little switches and little lights and the power supply, and then you would have to connect it all together.
Yeah.
And then I would start making all of these different machines to play the birthday song and whatever. It was really cool. That's kind of my first introduction to creative technology in a way, I guess. Also, a honorable mention would be in first, maybe second grade. I started I don't know if you remember this, in after school at Hollygrove, I started an origami stand called the Mohrigami stand. And that was kind of an idea that I had because I was bored during the after school time when we were stuck inside during carpool. Yeah. And I was I want to teach my friends something that I learned. And so I was going home and learning. It actually I started learning different fun craft ideas, and then I would teach them to my friends during that time. And
wait, you were 5, so this is kinder?
It was first grade.
Okay. So,
maybe some in kindergarten too.
Yeah, kinder or first grade. And I can't imagine, what did you do? Go to the principal and be like, I have an idea for an after school program?
Well, yeah, it was the
How did you make that happen?
But
Was it Jack?
at first we were just at first I was just teaching them these fun little creative projects that I found. And then I started out, I was just like teaching all of my friends these different like creative things. And I was bringing like paint to school and stuff to like, we were like painting like different things during this time. And then I eventually found origami, which my mom had taught me like when I was younger and whatever, how to make, the fortune teller.
And that's a big
stuff.
deal at our school. I mean, a lot of kids were already into things from origami to Zentangle. I mean, it's already a very creative environment.
Yeah, for sure. So I went out and I started learning all sorts of different, I got a book, origami for like beginners, and I learned all of these different origami. And so then I taught them to my friends during that after school time. And then we all started folding origami, and we were eventually like, what if other people wanted us to make them origami?
Yeah.
And so then we were like, let's take orders from people. And then it like turned into this big thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And eventually I got funding from the after school program. They bought me origami paper.
That is so amazing at that age.
Yeah.
My experience as a teacher, a lot of people don't know that before I was a music teacher, I was a behaviorist. So I often help kids. They're having issues growing up from anything, from autism or to just behavioral things. A lot of the smartest kids I met, like you, started out getting into trouble. And I think it's because the people in the school didn't understand them. For instance, I won't name the student, but there's a student, they were like, can you check on this kid? He's out of control. He can't stop moving. I go look in the room. I go, he's a drummer. He's tapping his feet. He's doing really good rhythms. So I remember with you, one of the first things that happened, I think this was first grade, is you started, I thought you were breaking everything, but then I talked to you about it and you said, I want to take it apart and find out how it works.
Yeah.
And so you and I made a deal. I don't know if you remember this. I was like, you can do that, but you need to put it back together. Because I remember I have 30 kids and I turn around and there's one kid in the corner taking that apart. I'm like, what are you doing? But I think it's important as a teacher to recognize there might be a reason behind why you see a particular behavior. And it doesn't mean to say that it's bad or negative. There's probably a reason behind it, right?
Yeah. Well,
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I had a lot of behavioral issues at Fairfax in TK and then in kindergarten and first grade at Holly Grove. And I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Right. Is it your experience that you ever felt misunderstood when you were getting in trouble? And I don't mean this to come out of this, because I knew you and I recognize this right away. Do you feel like a lot of the adults misunderstood you and the reasoning why you were doing the things you did? Because they, to me, turned out to be very creative.
Yeah. I think that was probably what was going through my head at the time. I don't remember. But when I ended up in Miss Amanda's class for kindergarten, she kind of helped me turn that energy that people interpreted. She had me I was a year ahead in math at that time, and they didn't have any special program for that.
Right.
So I was at the back of the room. She had she had a card that she would put on the calendar thing. She had the calendar with the different days on it. Yeah. And then she had a card. One side was red and one side was green. And she would flip it over to green when I could do whatever I wanted to in the back. And
choice
I would
or something.
Yeah, I would be I don't know what I was doing, solving some large math equations or whatever back there. And then when she would flip it to red, I would have to come back and join the class or whatever, which was really cool. She kind of taught me to try and channel that energy.
She is a great intuitive teacher, very compassionate, very understanding, a lot of patience.
That's what I need.
I never planned on being a teacher, and she and other people like Sarah Monets are responsible for me becoming a good teacher because it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah. And at the same time as that, I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Right.
And they told my parents, you should get him doing something active to help get that energy out and whatever. So I started running. I went to the run club. We went to the run club at 7:30 in the morning at Holly Grove.
I remember you
morning.
Cruising around the track.
Yep.
Yeah.
50 laps or something before school.
I don't think I've, even to this day, I've never seen you be tired. I imagine you're one of those people that goes all day long and then you pass out.
Well, yeah, I've had some pretty long days recently. Going to the gym at 5:30, going to school, and then cross country, and then youth and government. I'm yeah,
you're a busy guy, and
from 4 to 8 p.m.
One thing I noticed in my years teaching and as a behaviorist is I've seen this a lot where someone is intellectually advanced but emotionally behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not
sure.
a slight on you at all, but it was hard, right? Being so young and so intelligent because the kids might not understand you. The parents might not understand you. You're at the age now where it's kind of evened out and it makes a lot of sense. It's almost like all your parts have come together. But did you ever feel when you were really young, like frustrated because of that?
Yeah, for sure. That's the feeling that the frustration is definitely a feeling that embodies a lot of people with that.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's difficult, but it's good to tell kids that that's okay and fairly normal. You know, everybody's different, right?
Yeah, everyone's different. And they have different levels of creativity and different levels of, everyone's mind works differently.
Yeah, and you know, it's good to diagnose people and figure out what their issues are so they can get through life better. But to marginalize someone is, I think, unfair. Like, I was diagnosed at 25 as bipolar. Now, if you ever hear that term in media, they get it mixed up with borderline personality. They just think, if you're crazy, you're bipolar. For me, that just meant I had very high highs and very low lows. And I had to learn, like you, to stay busy and also eventually go on medication. And it's not for everybody. But all I'm saying is you had your ADHD. I had the bipolar. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with us. We just had to figure out how to go about our lives in a way that we could benefit.
Because the whole world is assuming that you're going to act or behave one way,
right,
and you behave another way, and it just doesn't work with them all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess other neurotypical people could be more inclusive of that. But
yeah, and honestly, as I get older, everybody's got something.
Yeah.
Or what's the Beatles song, right? John Lennon said, everybody's got something to hide except for me and my monkey. Were your parents creative when you were growing up? When I look at you, you're pretty even version of your parents.
Yeah. My mom is an education publisher. Mm-hmm. She's a vice president at HMH. She's in charge of all of their like English learners stuff. When I was growing up, she was like an editor. She was editing the textbooks and everything that they publish. I don't know.
Yeah, I think when I met her, she was working for Scholastic, right?
Yeah, she was working for Scholastic. My dad's been in IT, and now he like leads a team for app development at Streamline Media. He was at Technicolor. So like all of my technical skills and knowledge, I'm always like, it's from my dad. My current bedroom was his kind of man cave, I guess, in a sense. Now it's the garage. But he had like all of these monitors. I can remember like walking in there, it was like cables everywhere and everything. And I'm like, that's where I get it from.
Yeah.
And then I'm like reading stories in English class, and I'm like reading these stories and I'm changing all of the different things. I've got the editing blood from my mom. My mom always says, but I don't know where my creativity comes from, kind of. That's not.
I think it's pretty equal balance. I mean, I know your mom to be very focused, sharp-minded, and organized. Okay? I know your dad to be, and don't take this the wrong way, a mad professor that is very creative and always making cool stuff. And yeah, sometimes his laboratories look like the snakes in Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've seen a lot of that from you. I mean, you know, you were the student, but I often came to you for help at school because you're very well-rounded and you have a lot of different talents. And I really think it is a pretty even combination of your parents, right? And you and your dad are so technical. I remember a few years ago, I came up with this crazy invention that I have unfortunately shelved for now. But I came to you guys, remember the mechanical suit I was doing?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, who are the two people that would at least vaguely understand what I'm trying to do?
Yeah.
And we had this great talk about it at Starbucks. And hopefully, I'm not going to say what it is now, but hopefully I'll be able to pull it off someday.
Yeah, you don't want someone else stealing it.
Yeah, it's a very exciting secret project. Yeah. Was there anybody else in your family that's creative? Like grandparents or uncles and aunts?
Well, my dad's mom, I call her my Grammy. My Grammy, she lives in Phoenix, and I go out there I was going out like every single year we call it Grammy Camp. And she's really into like sewing and quilting and different creative stuff like that. So she taught me how to sew. when I was very little. I guess that's another family member.
So it sounds to me like you really grew up in a creative environment that actually supported it, which not everybody is lucky enough to have.
Mm-hmm. And that definitely has grown as I've gotten older too.
Yeah, it's a really big part of you.
Yeah.
Do you think creativity could be implemented in curing people, or at least helping people that are struggling with mental health struggles like depression, anxiety? Any specific insight on that?
I guess when I'm anxious and when I am like, I'm trying to relate it to myself, and it's
you and your dad often will like put together a really cool studio in your house.
Yeah.
So let's say that you guys spend 3 or 4 hours. Does that ever help you if you're frustrated in your life to be hyper focused on something, and then it makes the stress go away for those hours?
Yeah. The hyper focus definitely does help with that. Like I always, whenever I'm feeling stressed out, I go for a run. That's one thing I do.
There you go. That's creative too.
Yeah, that's in a way, yeah. Or I do stuff with my dad. I help organize his garage or set up his studio, and that definitely helps take that away. I don't know that could be applied at a larger scale, but I feel like creativity in of itself is healing and can do things like that for sure.
I'm a big fan of reading biographies. I would say with my books, 90% of them are biographies. And from what I know of people, I'm in fact helping a friend write his biography now, and it's very cathartic to go through your life, and you come to a new understanding. Mm-hmm. So maybe for you guys are building this studio. It must be great that you feel like it's an accomplishment and your time was well spent and you made something together. That really must be a great escape from whatever your frustrations are from.
It's an escape, but also sometimes it's like a way to channel that like anxiety or whatever it is.
Right. Even like doing the dishes, right?
Yeah.
You're frustrated. You do the dishes at the end.
Yes.
You go, I'm still depressed, but guess I got something done.
Since 8th grade, when we had a poetry unit with Miss Garraway, she taught us like how to write poetry and everything. We were writing all of these poems. I've kind of at some of the lower points in my life emotionally, I was writing poetry, and that was really helpful too, which is also a very creative thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a way to channel my
it's almost a different type of diary, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And I think for poetry, it takes a lot more thought, because you're not just writing prose, you're actually thinking of, am I using iambic pentameter? Am I rhyming every third line? Is this a haiku?
There's a lot of different types of poetry, but yeah.
Right. Here's a fun one.
Double entendres and metaphors are pretty cool.
What extracurricular subjects are you currently involved in 10th grade at school?
This might be the longest answer. Okay, let's see if I can list them out. Well, at school, like in class itself right now, I'm in leadership, chorus, and theater, which are two. I'm doing my fine arts year this year in chorus and theater because I need 2 of those to graduate. But then I'm also in leadership, which has been one of, if not the best extracurricular that I've done like in my life, kind of.
What are you doing with theater? Are you acting, directing,
theater,
stagehand?
Theater class. I mean, right now it's kind of, it's only been like 2 weeks of it so far. But in the theater class, it's kind of like an improv class, except for we eventually start writing different scripts for different things.
Oh, so you're doing like all the different aspects of putting together a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
In drama club, which is one thing that I did last year and that I'm planning to do this year, I was the audio engineer for the musical. Yeah, big surprise. For the musical Sister Act that we did last spring.
Yeah.
And I was a stagehand last fall with She Kills Monsters, which was a cool production that we did at LFP.
You did the SpongeBob show.
SpongeBob musical, Seussical musical the year before that. Other ways, that's audio engineering as well. I was putting together all of the backing tracks for the musical, which was really cool. I was in Ableton and whatever, piecing all of the ones together because we took these
That was a complicated show.
We took Broadway musicals that were like, how long were they? Like 2.5 hours or 3 hours or whatever. And we condensed it to a 30-minute show. And it's like, we wanted to get a bunch of different numbers that we all loved from those shows into this tiny little musical that we were doing for the school that was like 4th and 5th grade. And it was difficult. I spent a lot of nights on that, but
wow.
Yeah.
Are you still doing running?
Yes, I'm the captain of the cross-country team this year. I do track in the spring too, which has been really cool. I did volleyball in 8th grade, but I decided going into my freshman year that I wanted to do, like, volleyball is a team sport, so it's very different than running in that your team is relying on you to, like, show up and to, like, put in the dedication and effort.
Right.
And it's not that I'm not doing that in running, but it's like a different thing in that in high school, I wanted it to kind of be on my own schedule versus, I mean, it's much less flexible with volleyball. Yeah. So I was like, I'm doing all of these extracurriculars as well. I don't think I can do volleyball. So I dropped it and I went and did track instead last year, and I'm going to do it this year.
I had a question. I was on your Instagram yesterday and I saw this flyer that says, "Wanted Everett Mohr for being ruthlessly enthusiastic, criminally organized, and dangerously helpful. Reward is more fun," spelled like his last name, Mohr, more spirit, more of you, for more information. And then you put your email there.
Yeah.
As your treasurer. So are you running for treasurer, or did you already do it?
I ran for treasurer last spring. Yeah. I did not win, sadly.
Well, this is such a good poster.
I know, it is a pretty good poster. I'm going to put up more of a fight this coming year. I don't know what I'm running for yet, but we'll see.
What are the different positions at your high school?
So we have a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer are the 4 cabinet positions. And then we have committee chairs for each of the committees: communications, events, and spirit are the 3 committees in our leadership program. So I'm in comms this year, communications. But I'm not sure what I'm going to be running for this coming year. You didn't let me get through all the extracurriculars. I'm doing youth and government.
Oh, there's more?
Youth and government. I'm doing, what else? Shoot, I have a spreadsheet.
I am not surprised.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet to keep track of all the things. I don't know if I do. Youth and government is a really cool program in itself. We get to go to Sacramento and we model the state government, which has been like, and I did Model UN before that, which is really cool.
That's so crazy because when I was your age, our school did the same thing.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's not with our school; it's with the YMCA.
Yeah.
And so I'm like last year I was writing bills for that, and I was debating pro and con, which it's been so great for my public speaking skills. And like, I don't know if you saw my Instagram too. The other day I was like a keynote speaker at an event at the YMCA because of being in the youth and government program, which was really cool. And I got to like write a speech for that and all of that stuff. And I really love doing that sort of thing, public speaking. It's like, I want to do more of that for sure.
Okay, so those are the main things that you're doing.
Those are the main extracurriculars.
Well, let me ask you this.
I mentioned drama club already.
So are you do you do stuff after school every single day of the week?
Almost every single day.
Pretty much Monday through Friday, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I could go through my calendar if you want. But yeah.
Well, I think this is a good excerpt of a little bit, a taste of what you do. Wow, I'm looking at his phone, and there's like every color from the hexadecimal color palette there. Yeah,
that's the calendar.
That's amazing. Well,
it goes on for months like that.
This kind of has to do with what you were just saying. What types of things do you see yourself doing after high school? Do you plan to go to college? Do you have any idea what your major might be? Do you have any, or you're still like at the point where you're trying to figure that out? Yeah,
so I am probably, I'm assuming that I'm going to go to college after high school. That's my current path. And I think I want to go into engineering, some type of engineering. I'm not sure yet, but that's always really interested me in not just in the audio engineering sense, because that's one type of engineering that I'm super interested in and that I see a career in for myself even. The dream is MIT, but
cool.
We'll see.
So that's at least a vague plan. You really like engineering. And
Yes,
we'll see where that leads
I love
you.
engineering. Like even civil engineering is super interesting to me. I know all of the bus and train routes in LA. Wow. So like, yeah, you could ask me one and I could tell you where, Yeah, I've always been super interested in public transportation. I am going to apply for the Metro Youth Advisory Board,
Wow.
I think it's called, or it might be a council. I don't remember what it's called. But that for next year, which is really cool. So civil engineering,
Audio engineering.
yeah, audio engineering, civil engineering. Like I'm also all different types of engineering I love. So I'm not sure where I'll
You
go
could plan
yet,
a city out and you could have these speakers that are like people of Earth. That would announce
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Well, grad night at Universal, they had these speakers all over the entire Universal Studios, and they were all connected together. And I was like looking at that the whole time, like because they had the ones on the upper lot and they were all connected via like Dante or something to the DJ on the lower lot. And he was like, anyway, distracting me. That
you're
night.
actually making me think of, and I'm sure you've seen this before. I can't remember what the band was, but I was seeing a show at the Hollywood Bowl, and they told us all to go on the Wi-Fi. And then from the stage, the band and the technicians controlled our phones and made like a whole light show.
Yeah, I've seen those for sure.
So cool.
Those are normally with, you have like the handheld, like different devices that they give you as you walk in. But
these
cool
were all
your
with
phone.
phones, which was brilliant.
That's great. With the Wi-Fi, that's a good idea.
Tell me about one of the trips that you did through school that you really liked. I saw that you went to Japan, right?
Yes, I went to Japan.
What did you like about Japan?
I went to Costa Rica.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit what you liked about Japan and what you liked about Costa Rica.
So in Japan, we went to Osaka and then Tokyo. It was a trip for 8th graders at my school. I went this last spring as a freshman along with two of my other friends, Luke Flexer and Joshua Jung. And us three went because we were in Coach Keith's leadership class at Selma.
Right.
And we had like a really close connection with him. And so he wanted us to come kind of as like junior chaperones on the trip, which was a really cool experience. The whole trip was a great experience.
Yeah.
In the cities in Japan, we got to like go out and explore and all sorts of different stuff. It was great. We got to learn about living kind of independently and stuff, which was really cool. And the trains there were really cool.
Talking about the bullet trains?
The bullet trains and the just like subway systems so much better than LA Metro.
Slightly different than our country.
Yeah, a little bit different,
Okay, what's something you liked about Costa Rica?
Costa Rica. Yeah, Costa Rica was a cool trip. I went in 8th grade. It was an actual 8th grade trip that I went on in 8th grade with Miss Sarah, Miss Patel, Miss Emerine. We went to Costa Rica. What did I like most about the trip?
The food, the culture. I don't know what you guys did there.
I mean, all of those things. It was a conservation project. It was a conservation trip, the Costa Rica trip. We planted mangroves off the Pacific coast. It was off the Pacific coast. We planted mangroves to help like the soil. I don't remember the science behind it, but we planted all these mangroves, which was really, really great. But that wasn't the highlight of my trip.
I think it's really cool. Yeah. I thought you guys just went there to just experience it. I didn't know that you had a project to help people.
That's what Japan was. It was a cultural like trip where we got to experience the culture, which was really great. But in Costa Rica, we spent like 3 days. First, we got all of these plastic bottles that they were reusing and we like cut them up so that they were like the right shape. And then we put the mangroves inside the bottles and then we brought all the bottles to the site where we were planting them. And then we put them in the ground and pulled them all out. And it was great. My shoes got very muddy that day.
How long have you been playing guitar?
I have been playing guitar 3-4 years.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years.
What type of music have you been learning?
Yeah.
Just chords and scales or songs?
Yeah, I've been learning a bunch of songs and chords and scales with Paul.
Our good friend Paul Huston. Yep.
Mm-hmm. The best guitar teacher in the land. We've been a lot of Grateful Dead, a lot of Beatles. Yeah, and I've been playing mostly acoustic and a lot of rhythm, although I've been learning more lead stuff recently. Yeah. Which has been really interesting.
And pretty much everybody in your family is musical. However, does your mom play anything?
My mom doesn't play any instruments.
So you and your dad and Elsie.
My dad plays guitar, drums-ish. Guitar, drums. I play guitar. Elsie plays guitar and ukulele. Yeah.
How old's your sister Elsie now?
She is 11.
Yeah. What type of music do you like to listen to? I know that your family likes AJR, which is a great band.
I listen to a very wide variety of music. I guess I'll go with Quadeca and Somber.
Wow, now this is cool. I have not heard of either of those. So tell me a little bit about.
Okay.
There's so much music these days that
Quadeca is a really small artist. What's really cool about his albums and stuff is that they're kind of like stories. So you kind of listen to the whole album and it's like a whole kind of like continuous story.
It's like a concept album.
It's really cool, yeah.
What's the other artist?
Somber. He's 19 years old.
Okay.
Which is really cool.
Was he a singer-songwriter? Is it electronic? Is it acoustic?
I mean, he's a singer, yeah. This is why this question
You're doing fine. Just explain to me what you like about his music.
I feel like I can relate to it a lot in a lot of different
lyrics?
ways. The lyrics, overall, he writes a lot of stuff about like teenage. I mean, being just graduated high school. I think he just graduated. He's 19. He just graduated high school, and so he writes a lot about the struggles of relationships in high school.
Right, and people your age.
Yeah, stuff my age. So I can relate to him in that way.
When I look at your Instagram and from knowing you guys, it seems like as a family and by yourself, like to do a lot of outdoor activities like camping and skiing and stuff. What are some of your favorite things to do other than running?
Other than running, I like wakeboarding. I wakeboard every summer. It's great. I've been doing that since I was like 4 or 5. And then skiing as well. I've been doing since I was 3. Snow skiing, that is, alpine skiing at Snow Valley.
All right, now I have to point this out. As you know, I'm a private drum teacher. Most of my students, I drive to their house, right? Mm-hmm. Most of my students have a dog. One of the things that shocked me at first is that dogs in general are not scared of drums. I was really in shock. A lot of the dogs I know will sit right next to the drums, sometimes in front of the bass drum. Your dog, Hannah, does something very peculiar, and it took me a while to figure out how to handle it. Every time I came to your house, your dog would start growling or barking. However, I noticed if I pet her, it would stop. So eventually, when I was teaching your dad drums for a while, I learned to keep one hand on the dog and one hand, helping the person I'm teaching. Yeah, I run into that a couple of times. What do you have to tell me about Hannah? How old is she, and what do you like about her?
Yes, Hannah the dog. She's about 7. We rescued her during COVID. Wow. Yeah, she's a COVID rescue puppy. So she didn't really get the social stuff with other dogs. So she's
lacking in social emotional learning.
Yes, she is. She could use the old Malcolm in that sense.
Hannah is a great dog. Yeah, I also have another. I don't know if you know William. He was a student of mine who went to Fairfax. He has a dog named Wally. Same thing. Barks and goes crazy unless he can sit on my right foot and look up at me through the whole lesson. So, yeah, that's one of the things about going to people's homes that's fun, figuring out the pets.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Hannah has a very enthusiastic, like, energy with strangers, I guess. Yeah, you'll walk in and she'll start growling and barking at you, but not in like a bad way, but in a
she's
friendly,
great. It's just funny.
I was like, all right, I want to play with you way.
How can I pet this dog while I'm teaching drums? Yeah, it's a good fun challenge.
Yep.
Here's a huge question for you, and I'm curious for your answer because you're from my perspective, a young person. What are your thoughts on AI? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it both? How will it change your life? How is it changing your life already?
Yeah. So my opinion on AI, you say good and bad. It's a little bit of both. I mean, as with everything.
Or destructive or helpful.
Yeah. I feel like it's a really, really useful tool, especially in mundane tasks.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because you have a creativity podcast. I didn't think about how that would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
well. And let me throw this out there. Obviously, there are people I know in the entertainment industry that are really hurting because there's less money, there are less jobs, and we all know that people are using AI to do things in movies and music that used to take humans. And it's not just entertainment. It's affecting everything. So there's the way there that technology, the thought that technology will take jobs away from people, but it also gives other people that didn't have the means to make something be able to do it on their own.
It's really, it can be seen as like a tool to assist you to do even better, but it could also be seen as like a conflicting power.
Right. I mean, my younger son, Caleb, he went to school for programming video games. So he might use AI to do the coding and he has more time to be creative with what he does. Or sometimes I make websites for people. I might, lately I've used that to do the meta tags because it's just boring and it takes forever.
It's true. And I use it to format different things. Like
that's what I was going to ask you. What do you use it for?
This, and I'm not going to, I don't use it for homework ever because that would be a terrible thing to do because that would undermine our education system. That's
but here's the deal.
Flawed anyway, but
it is inevitable. Mm-hmm. It is probably a bigger part of your life than mine because you grew up with it. But I'm also older and I remember different things being invented that they thought would put people out of work. But I think the most intelligent people is learn that technology so you're not outdated.
Yeah.
Right.
I was one of the beta users of ChatGPT in what was it? Early seventh grade.
Yeah.
Sixth or seventh grade. Yeah. I was one of the early beta users of ChatGPT and I would use it.
No, it's fine. And you know what? I remember around that time when it was first coming out, we were at a teacher meeting. It wasn't an official meeting, but we were sitting around and we were looking at the papers that the kids were handing in. Mm-hmm. And I remember one of them just had amazing vocabulary. And the teacher brought it back the next day and said, "Oh, this is a pretty good paper. Did you write this by yourself?" "Yes." "Can you tell me what the word myriad means?" And they're like, and that's how we started figuring out.
How do you actually use an M dash?
Right.
It's so annoying because I use M dashes actually myself. I used to use them even before AI, and now every teacher's like sees an M dash. They're like, "Oh, AI."
I mean, annoying. I think it's inevitable. And so I think it should be included in school. And I know teachers that what they do is they'll teach them how to use AI. For instance, like if you're an English teacher, you might say, "Okay, I want you to read this book and write about it." And you can use AI. Mm-hmm. And then they might take that paper and say, "Well, this isn't perfect. How can we improve it?"
Yeah.
But also, let's do a lesson today. I want you to write a paper. Here's a pad of paper and a pen. Yeah. I think kids need to learn both.
Yes, I agree. And that's kind of how our school is doing it right now.
Yeah.
This year. Like last year, on our technology policy for the school that we signed at the start of the year or whatever, it said like no AI or any tools like that whatsoever.
Right.
And then this year it says like don't use AI when it's not allowed and stuff. And I was talking to Miss Mahoney about this the other day. I don't know.
Right. I know Stacy very well, and I was going to bring her up because last year I did a training with her on AI.
Yes,
because she's
I was
very
talking
well
to her
versed
about how she was training the teachers in that.
She did a great job. And you know what's funny is the technology is moving so quickly. What she taught us is pretty outdated already.
Yeah. Well, this year we're using. I think we have No Red Ink. We're going to use. I don't know if you know that tool. It's like I think it's called No Red Ink. It's a tool for schools and stuff where like we haven't started using it yet, but I heard rumors about it where like when you're typing, it shows every single, like it highlights everything that was copy and pasted. It like tracks your exact movements.
That's
on
crazy.
the device. Yeah. And then also it's doing
like a watermark.
Everything is handwritten now for AP World that I'm taking this year.
That's cool though.
Yeah, cool. When I signed up for the class, I had heard from the year above me that it's a super easy class. He doesn't actually check the homework. And then this year, it's all of this handwritten.
Gotta be careful. Yeah. I don't know if you know who this is, but there's this guy on YouTube that's actually from my hometown. His name is Rick Beato. And he has viral videos. And what he does is he started out by taking songs and breaking them down. Why is this Sting song great? Why is this Olivia Rodrigo song? And he'll break down the chords and the melodies. And it was very informative, and he got really popular. And then he started bringing big stars on. So if you look up Rick Beato, really amazing guy and teacher. Recently he put up a video where he told AI to make a singer, make an artist, and make a song. And it was amazing. You couldn't tell by looking at the video. You couldn't tell by listening to the song that it was all fake. And then he went on to say that on Spotify, a lot of the top artists are not even real. Mm-hmm. So for you as a young person growing into that, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's going to find some way to be incorporated into our lives in like some way or one way or another. Like I've heard from my parents and stuff because they grew up without cell phones and stuff. I mean, it's now that's so incorporated into our lives that like everything is
all
like
you need to do is watch Stranger Things and then you'll know what life was like when we were younger.
Yeah, I know. Well,
minus the supernatural creatures.
I'm excited for season 5. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be like that in a sense where it's like, it's already kind of like that. It's slowly growing and more people are using it and people are adapting to it and the world is changing to adapt to it.
And like, my feeling is that there's some kid out there that is growing up and doesn't have a lot of money. He grabs a phone. He somehow uses ChatGPT or whatever software, AI software he comes across. And he wants to make a song, but he can't play an instrument. He doesn't have an instrument. So he tells it, make an R&B song, make a country song, whatever. And then he makes a song and then he sings on top of it. So here's someone that never had the ability or the means to create something.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the greatest potentials of it. Like giving people that have never had a voice. It
really, it's really a tool in that sense. It, like I said earlier, it can be like a tool or it could be like conflicting with you in a way. If you accept it, you can kind of use it in that way. And so like I use it sometimes because I'm really bad at writing in the sense that I can't like start. And people say like, oh, you're kind of like, you're a perfectionist and whatever. And I've never thought of myself as that way. But like more recently I've been like, why can't I just like, it's like one paragraph. Why can't I write this? And it's because I need like a start. So sometimes I'll use ChatGPT to like,
so were you
come
feeling
up with
like
some
you
ideas
had,
or like structure or whatever.
Yeah, it's like you had writer's block
it's great.
And you just need to get started.
Yeah, exactly. So like for stuff like that, for helping in less privileged people's lives and different use cases like that, I think it's a really useful tool.
I'm noticing a lot of people are doing their resumes, especially with a lot of people at work. It is so boring to make a resume. And also, if you're like me and you're trying to apply for all different kinds of jobs, to keep rewriting a different thing that is customized to each job you're trying to get, that is a royal pain. And so, and the other day, I needed a reference letter and someone sent it to me and I called them back and I was like, this is the nicest reference letter anyone's ever written for me. And she's like, I used AI.
Well, at least she admitted it. Yeah. I talked to the facilities director at the camp that I was working at this last summer. I was at a summer camp. I was a camp assistant at Camp Wildfolk in the Valley. And I was talking to the facility camp director about, she mentioned something about my application or whatever for the camp. And I was like, yeah, I used AI for it. And she was like, yeah, I was getting all of these. And she was like, yeah, I expect it at this point or something like that. Like they're expecting it now, and it's like to be expected that you're using AI. So like now it's being held to an even higher standard. Everything is, because it's expected that you have that starting point.
Right. There's almost no excuse to hand in something of poor quality with all the tools at your disposal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always like to end by saying a couple quotes and having people react. So I have a couple for you, okay? I'm going to read the quote and you tell me what you think. This is by Mark Twain. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all of one's lifetime. So when I read that, I think of what I was telling you earlier. I always tell my students, promise me you will travel and learn about history, because you'll understand everybody on the planet has more in common than they do different.
Yeah, and that's true. And by traveling, I'd love to travel so much. Japan and Costa Rica, those I am hoping to go to. I don't know.
What did you experience though when you met people from a completely different culture? Did you have more things in common with them?
Yeah,
or did you have culture shock? Like, how did you feel?
Yeah. Going to Japan, everyone was it was crazy how different it was from here. Nothing could have really prepared me for how like kind they were, and how all of these different things that are just like assumed there that we don't even think of here. And even just like, we went on a trip to DC this summer as a family, and even just like going there and looking out the window of the plane, it was kind of like I had this moment. I could see these just like stretches to the horizon of fields and like houses and everything, and I'm like, it's a big world. Like, that sounds so corny, but like it's crazy how like watching the little plane move on the map, I can only see this tiny little section, and it's like all of these people living their own little lives just like mine. Right. It's crazy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and being in California, there's so many other places that are completely different.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, the other quote is, this is by Arthur C. Clarke. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah, well, magic is science that we don't understand yet.
Boom.
Yeah. If we brought a cell phone back, I mean, obviously this isn't a good example because you would need cell towers and everything. But if you brought a cell phone in a time machine back to way back 200 BC, and you're like showing people how you can just like get any piece of information in the palm of your hand in seconds, it's like, it'd be crazy to
know. It's funny, like when I was your age, I was watching the original Star Trek. They were reruns, but even then the tricorder. You'd be
burned because you were a witch. Be like,
well, no, what I'm saying is on Star Trek, when I was younger, they had these tricorders where they would talk to each other. And now we look at that and it's not crazy. We're like, oh, that's a cell phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of movies were way ahead of their time. Like you look at, Star Trek. And
if I went back in time to when I was your age and someone told me that when I was older, I'd live in California and I'd be driving down the street and there were driverless cars. There are what I call the robot baby carriages that are delivering food, and there's people on scooters. It's almost, my good friend Nathan always tells me, like driving in California is like being in a video game.
Yeah. I mean, that also ties in with what I said earlier with AI, where it's like and cell phones, how it just kind of became a part of our world and we all adapted to it. Now I am driving down, I'm driving down the street, walking down the street or whatever, and I'm looking and it's like there's Waymos passing me by, and I'm like, that's a driverless car. We didn't have those like 3 years ago. Like, that's like,
it's happening quickly,
and yet it's just there, and I'm like, yeah, it's a Waymo. Like,
when I was still teaching at the school, a lot of the parents would tell me they feel more comfortable with their kids taking a Waymo to school than getting in an Uber with a stranger.
Yeah, I've taken Waymos. I haven't taken Ubers on my own though.
Yeah,
because it's more comfortable for me too. Because it's like, yeah. I already like am wired to trust it for some reason. Like, even though they just came out like a couple of years ago, I was one of the beta testers of Waymo too. I rode in one of the first ones in Phoenix. which was really cool. I got to test that out, and it's just like, yeah, I took it to and from some rehearsals for musicals and stuff last year, and I feel more comfortable than in an Uber.
That's because you're part cyborg.
Yeah, I know. It's like family to me.
I can see you like putting your hand on the dashboard and mind melding with the Waymo.
Yeah, actually, I'm like telepathically controlling all the Waymos in LA right now.
All right, before we go, what would you like to promote? Are there projects you're involved in? Do you have a website? Where can people find out what you're up to? I'm guessing that would be Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Instagram is my biggest social media, I guess. I'm sure you'll tag it, but it's at Evigami, EVIGAMI _ And then some other projects I'm involved in. My school's leadership program. We have a leadership Instagram, which I am helping to run this year in the communications committee. So that's at Larchmont LFP. I'm sure you can tag that too. And the Yap podcast, which is
what is your podcast?
So yeah, I talked about it while you were gone, but the Yap podcast, Youth and Power, it stands for, is a podcast that a couple of my friends and I started. I'm the technical director for it in my youth and government program, which I talked about already.
Who are the people involved in your podcast?
The people involved in my podcast, Devin Jassiconis and Sophia Hayes, were the main anchors for it last year. Sophia graduated. She was a senior. She's at William and Mary now. But they were the ones that started it, and they were our like hosts last year. I guess it's called hosts. And I'm the technical director, and then it's Luna and Maliha, a couple other of my friends from my school, and youth and government delegation.
And where can people listen? Is it on all streaming? Is it on YouTube?
It's on, we have an Instagram, and it's posted on YouTube and Spotify. Although right now, our first season of it, kind of like our trial run last year, we interviewed all of the candidates for the different positions in youth and government, which is really cool because that's what we originally created it for, because we saw this need. These people were running for office that like we were going to vote on, and they didn't have a great way of campaigning outside of like word of mouth and posters. And so we were like, we should make some form of media that we can get them out on so that we can hear what they actually are and who they are and like what they think. And so we created this podcast and we interviewed all of them. So it's not super applicable right now to everyone, but we're planning to expand this year to kind of talk more about how youth are involved in government and in different service organizations and stuff like that, and how they're making a difference.
That's really cool. So
that's
audio?
That's the direction we're going. Yeah, it's audio.
Is it audio only?
We have video versions on the YouTube as well.
Oh, cool.
It's both.
Everett Mohr, thank you so much for talking to me today. I look forward to us doing this again soon. Would that be something you'd agree to?
I'd be down for that for sure. This is a great studio. I love it here. Yeah.
All right. This is Malcolm Mohr and Everett Mohr, spelled differently.
Mr.
Signing
Mohr.
off.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
All right,
More
Everett.
and More. This is the More and More podcast.
All right, Everett. Thank you.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Tell me a little bit what you liked about Japan and what you liked about Costa Rica.
Yeah. So in Japan, we went from Osaka. Excuse me. I could grab another water bottle.
Yeah.
I like drank my whole one. Is that, are
Do you
they
want me
just,
actually, why don't we,
okay.
I'm going to let this keep going so I don't lose I'm just going to go grab two.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Just let it keep going.
Okay.
Grab my energy drink too.
I'm going to leave some surprises on the tape here for you.
What's it called? Everett, what kind of energy drink is it?
I forgot. It's orange.
Oh, flavors.
all alone on Malcolm's podcast. This is really cool. I've never been on a podcast before. I have been doing I've been like the technical director for a podcast, the YAP podcast, Youth and Power podcast, with my YMCA, with my YNG delegation, Youth and Government delegation. And we were like interviewing all of these kids, all of the people who were running for positions in youth and government last year. And like, it was really cool being behind the scenes for that. But I've never actually been like on a podcast before. So this is like a new experience for me. And I'm really loving it so far. So thank you, Malcolm, for having me.
In the weeds. I love it. It's actually from...
Welcome back.
All right. I like me some old country songs. You know that.
Thank you. Would you be mad if I just like plugged my own podcast on here while you were away and I got all your viewers to listen
No,
to my
there's a
podcast
part at the end where you can do that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I already do that. Don't worry.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Well, I'm
going to do this.